Okay, Scott, it's wonderful to have you here.
Thank you.
Well, we have a few questions.
Okay.
And the very first one, maybe you've been talking about this 100 times, but I would like to talk about your influences and so guitar players, but not only guitar players, probably more music in general.
Well, I mean, I started out like most people my age, I guess, guitar players, listening to, Led Zeppelin, Deep Purple, Jeff Beck, Santana, ZZ Top, all the, and then I discovered that, that music actually came from a much earlier time, from Albert King, from Albert Collins, Muddy Waters, John Lee Hooker. Started listening to those guys a lot, and I was pretty much just into blues and rock, but I got a gig with an all-black group, horns, big band, like 10, 11 people, and I was the only white guy in the band. I knew nothing about soul music or R&B or funk, and so I played with him for 4 years and played all the music of, James Brown, Kool and the Gang, all the Motown stuff.
When was that?
It was, right after high school. It was late 70s, And then, I realized that I could love both those kinds of music equally, and that kind of changed my life because it made me more open-minded. So when I started hearing some of the saxophone solos in funk music and soul music, it was, a little influenced by jazz, so I got interested in jazz. Started listening to groups like Weather Report, Mavish Orchestra, the starters of fusion. And then that, just like blues, that led me back to an earlier era of Charlie Parker, John Coltrane, started getting into straight ahead jazz. And for many years, that's what I was interested in the most, of learning how to play over chord changes and just playing standards and stuff. But I never lost my influence of blues and rock. That's why I didn't go buy a hollow body guitar and start playing and trying to sound like Joe Pass, because that's not where my heart is. I love the notes, but that's not my sound. My sound is what it was when I was a teenager. It's a Strat through a Marshall. So, it's like, now these days I don't really have a favorite kind of music. I just like anything that's good. And, I like, rock, pop, jazz, country, blues, soul music, funk, everything. If it's good, I like it.
Yeah. Talking about your new album. First of all, the title, Karnevel, where does it come from? I mean,
it comes from me and my daughter's years of growing up with my daughter, taking her to the LA Fair. Because it's not like Disneyland. It's way creepier and weird, It's really weird. You see very weird people, and everything is a little bit off. It's fun in a kind of dark way. Yeah, it's much more mysterious. Disneyland is for families.
Okay.
Yeah, the LA Fair is for deviants. So it's kind of just a fun place to go. There are a lot of rides, crazy stuff happens. So that's where the name came from.
Okay. And do you have I don't know, probably, do you have a favorite track in the album, or one?
Not really. I don't. I don't. I have some I don't like, but but that happens on every record. You look back and go, what was I thinking when I did that? So.
Sure. Okay. Now, the next question is about your creative process. Mm-hmm. When you start creating a new piece of music, how do you start?
I like to do it a different way every time. I don't like to get into doing everything exactly the same every time. I like to start with different things. I might start with a bass line on one song. I might start with a chord progression on one song. I might start with a groove on another song. If I do it the same way every time, more of a chance of it sounding the same. And I don't wait for inspiration. That's the worst thing you can do. I just treat it like a job. I get out of bed, I have my coffee, I sit down, I start working, and I work all day.
And you have a routine, like I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if unless I have something that I have to do, just life stuff, you know, then I'm working. Yeah, I'm just like a day job. So I get out of bed, have my breakfast, have my coffee, and go to work. And I work all day into the night, and sometimes 12 hours a day. And sometimes nothing happens, sometimes it does. But I don't let myself get discouraged if it doesn't, because everybody has bad days.
Right,
But,
yeah.
You know, I'm happy if I can write just a few bars of music every day, you know. And eventually that's joined together, pieces are put together. It happens over a long period of time.
Yeah, so you record on...
I record every single thing I do, because usually the best things happen by accident. And so the recorder's always on, and often the next day when I listen to something that I recorded, I'm pleasantly surprised by it, and I was glad that the recorder was going, because otherwise that good idea would have been lost.
Right.
So yeah, it's a process, you know, and I think one of the reasons, or the main reasons, why people get frustrated with composing or writing or any artistic thing is because they expect instant gratification. And anybody that expects instant gratification from art is an idiot. It never happens that way. You know, it happens it's a process. It's the road, not the destination. So if you love the road, the destination will come sooner or later. I'm not in a hurry for it. I don't have anybody on my back telling me when I have to have an album ready. If it takes 10 years, it takes 10 years. I don't care. Yeah. So, you know, I'm under no pressure.
Yeah, that's a good place to be.
Yeah, it is. It is a good place to be. Because if you're pressured, you don't do your best work.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. And now, I know that, are you still teaching nowadays, or doing some?
I give some lessons on Zoom when I'm not touring,
so,
and I teach every other Monday at Musicians Institute in Hollywood. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So because do you have, talking about students or emerging artists, emerging guitar players, do you have an advice for them that you would like to share?
I don't know. You know, these days, kids wow, you know, they just don't want to do the work. You know, so you don't want to do the work, then and I don't have time for you. You know, so yeah. I have students that I see once, I never see them again, because when I tell them how much work is involved, they maybe want to do something else.
Oh, I see. So your advice is find the strength.
If you're serious about it, you have to put the hours in.
Right. Yeah.
You know, so I'm a little skeptical of students that want to start playing in their 20s. I started when I was 5. You know,
wow,
so
that young.
If you start in your 20s and expect to be good in a couple of years, that usually doesn't happen.
No.
So, but then again, there's a lot of music out there that you don't necessarily have to be a good musician to play. So there's that avenue. You know, some guys can't even tune their guitars and they make way more money than I ever have. So who am I to say don't go into music? Because there's a lot of really shitty music with shitty musicians that makes a lot of money. So, so if you're going into it for the money, who am I to say don't do it?
Right. Yeah. It depends on.
Yeah. It depends on the kind of music you want to play.
Yeah, and the reason why you are.
Sure. Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we have one last question. It's about Italy. I think that you've been here quite a few times,
many
right?
times, yeah.
And so just, do you have connections here? You like the country?
Well,
you...
I have, you know, everybody in every country asks me that, right? So what can I say?
No,
you know,
no,
the
no,
food
no,
is
yeah.
really good, you know, and the audiences have been really nice here. And, but it's often not about the country, it's more about the venue, right?
The venue,
yeah.
okay.
That's the most important thing, not the country the venue's in. It's the venue that's important. If the venue has a shitty sound, you're not going to have a good concert, right? If the venue has a great sound, we're going to play our best, you know, no matter where in the world we are. So it's all about that, you know. People love music. Italians love music. Germans love music. Austrians love music. But if the concert sounds bad, they're not going to like it. So it's all about the venue. It's all about the sound.
I know that you don't like people standing with their iPhone or...
Nah, I don't
because the sound of that little device is...
I mean, if they're doing it just so they can take the concert home, and if they're students and they want to learn some things, I don't have a problem with that. But when they put it up on YouTube, I don't want to be represented by an iPhone microphone, you know, because I spend a lot of money to make my records sound good and to represent my art in the best way possible. So an iPhone mic ain't it, you know. So when they post videos, I usually take them down because they sound terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's only for that. I mean, the other reason is that artists don't always like what they do. That's why they have multiple takes. You know, actors do multiple takes until they get it right. Sure. No one wants them to see their bad takes. And we have, you know, we have nights where we don't play that well. And I don't like every single solo that I played. And if I see it on YouTube, even if it sounds good, I'm likely to take it down because maybe it's not something I'm very proud of.
Sure.
So, and we all have those, you know, if I am proud of it, I'll leave it up. And if it sounds okay, but those two things are very not likely to happen.
It's one or the other.
Usually if I play a good solo, someone record it with an iPhone mic and the sound is terrible. Yeah, it's just, you know, so anyway, but I don't mind people recording if it's for their own.
Yeah, for it.
But I usually say that on stage, please don't put it up on YouTube because I don't want to take it down and give you a copyright hit. And, you know, I don't want to be the bad guy. But I belong to a group of musicians. There's probably tens of thousands of people in this YouTube program where our YouTube page looks different than yours. We have check boxes, sure. And all you have to do is hit check and delete, and it's gone. Yeah. So, yeah, so for us, it's easy to remove a video if we don't like it. And I've showed many musicians. They call me and go, Scott, I heard you know how to remove, I'm in this horrible video, how do I take it down? I tell them how to apply for the program, and you know, it's very easy. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sure. Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, it was a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for coming, and thank you, appreciate it.
See, good. Well, stop.